Right now on Talking TV, we've got a fantastic interview for you with Larry Dann. Larry appeared in 4 Carry On films. Appeared in Carry On Teacher at one end of the Carry On era, and then Carry On Behind, Carry On England, and Carry On Emmanuel at the latter end of the Carry On series. He also appeared as Sergeant Alec Peters in The Bill. Larry was on brilliant form. We talked about Bernard Cribbins, we talked about non-league football, and I've left those bits in because Joe what? He was just absolutely brilliant. We recorded the interview on the night when Doctor Who, the episode While Blue Yonder had aired. And I'd been really touched by seeing Bernard Cribbins on screen just an hour before we did the interview with Larry Dann. So I'll start by playing you the bit that we did at the end of the interview, because we ended up talking about Doctor Who. So I think it's worthy including because Larry was obviously touched by it as well, and Larry had seen Doctor Who. So I'll show you that bit first.
I'm going to go and put my youngest to bed now. He's been watching Doctor Who, I think.
Yeah, I watched that. It's an interesting one.
It was an interesting one, wasn't it? Yeah.
I'm not a Who fan. My wife loves it, and I thought this is interesting. I thought it was beautiful. The effects on it were amazing.
Yeah, they were tonight. They were.
I looked at the effects. Wow, that's television.
I tell you what I like though tonight. I mean, my wife's gone to a concert tonight, so she'll see it tomorrow with my daughter. Yeah. But I love the cameo at the end with Bernard Cribbins. I mean, that was
that hit me because I knew Bernie very well because he died. I think about July last year.
Yeah,
and I trying to work it out. Hang on. I know I've worked out why because they knew they were going to do a story like this.
Oh,
because the previous episode he was in sort of finished. Didn't it? With what's the name going off anyway? They obviously thought we'll make a scene that can work for Bernie. We can put it in later if he's not well enough. Well, he wasn't well enough because he died.
Yeah.
And I thought that's not Bernie. It can't be. They've got a look-alike at first.
No, I know it really hit me that.
I thought he was a look-alike, and it wasn't. It was dear old baby was a lovely man. They go for Bernard Cribbins. Yeah.
Oh, every time I hear I've grown accustomed to her face, my hairs on my neck still stand. I love that song. Absolutely love it. It's one of my, I'd take on a desert island, that song. I love it.
It's a good number, isn't it?
I do like that. Right now, joining us on the show now, he has written a new memoir, and it's called Oh, What a Lovely Memoir. It is the legendary Larry Dann. Hello.
Hello, Chris. Hello.
How you doing? You all right?
I'm fine, and thanks for inviting me. I'm flattered. Very nice.
No, we are flattered. We are flattered. In no particular order, I suppose I'm going to start with The Bill, only because I was watching a clip recently of the episode from 1991 where you played, of course, Sergeant Alec Peters, and you got stabbed. And I was like, I totally forgot about that as a 10-year-old, and that happened. And you were in The Bill for 7 years, wasn't you?
Yeah, 7.5, I think, all in all. Yeah. Yes, it was 7.5 years. The stabbing episode was, as a particular reason for that, is because I was going to leave. I was leaving The Bill. I was going to leave because I'd got a job in Canada to direct a play because I'm a theatre man, really. Direct a play for the opening of the Niagara-on-the-Lake Festival, Theatre Festival. They have 3 theatres in this place, and I was given the honour of directing opening play. So I'm not going to turn that down, am I? I mean, I love that. I just love theatre and the whole genre of it, the whole thing of it, the excitement of it. Anyway, so I said, well, I'm going to go. I'm leaving. I want to go and direct this play. You see, so they said to me, "Oh, please don't go." I think they sort of said it that way, and they were very kind to me. They offered to pay me I was away for 8-10 weeks. They offered to pay me a weekly wage while I was away. I couldn't believe it. And then when I came back, they upped my average wage. So I got greedy and I took it, So I said, all right. So they planned to do so. What they did, they stabbed me. So I'm away. I'm in hospital, recovering. And in 8 or so weeks' time, I'm back. That's why they did it.
Right. That's a good bit of backstory about that. So you started after the pilot. Was it like the first series after the pilot?
Yes, it was the first episode shown after the pilot. It wasn't the first episode made after the pilot. I think it was about the third one made, but that was the one they were going to put out first.
So obviously, I think it was 4 years in, wasn't it? The format changed. It went pre-Watershed. Was it twice a week? How
twice
did
a
you
week.
feel at the
Yes,
time when, because obviously you'd been involved for, I think it was 3 hour-long series up to that point.
yes.
What were your thoughts on moving it to before 9 o'clock and the twice a week, obviously getting in on the EastEnders market?
Didn't worry me at all. I mean, we were such a very happy bunch. You know, not only the actors but the crew. It was an amazing period of time because there were so few of us in a series. I think there might have been 10, 12 regular actors and the same crew all the time. The same, because it was just one crew in those days. So, but yes, it was wonderful. Didn't matter at all. It was good. It was
And
good.
obviously such a massive cast by the time we went twice a week.
Oh, it grew. It had to because doing 2 episodes a week, you have to because when we did the hours, I think we do it? Yes, we had 2 weeks to do it in. This you've got 1 week to make 2 episodes, 2 half-hour episodes. So I mean, you weren't in every episode, of course. Sometimes you would jump from one to another, but not too often. Not too often. Yeah,
But
it was good. I loved it.
And obviously, like you say, a long time to go in there. But before that, let's move back because obviously your new book covers such a long period. I mean, you got your first acting job at the age of 5, didn't you?
No, 8.
8. You got your first job at the age
Yes,
of
no,
8.
I
Wow.
know there's somewhere you read on the web or something. They get all the facts wrong. In fact, I've got 2 birthdays, so I'm like I used to call myself like the Queen. I have my real one and my yes. I've got 2 different birth dates on the year.
So how did your first acting role come about, though?
Well, it's in the book, and I'll tell you, it was a knock on the door. It's quite extraordinary. Literally, it was probably a Sunday. That bit I don't remember, can't remember. But there's a man at the door who my father sort of knew. I think he was in the army with him. He sort of knew him. He said, "You've got a son, haven't you?" He said, "Yes, yes, yes." He said, "Does your son want to be in a film?" Literally. And so my dad called me across and said, "Do you want to be in a film?" I said, "Yes, yes." I didn't have a clue what I'd never seen a film. I didn't know what a film was. In 1940, 49. I think it was 49. Yeah, I didn't know what a film was. I didn't have television, let alone go to a cinema at that age. I was too young for Saturday morning pictures at that stage. Yeah, so I said yes, and I went, and that was wonderful. I loved that first moment I walked into that Denham Studios. I knew that's what I wanted. It was extraordinary.
And you had some extraordinary parts. Obviously, Carry On Teacher. We've got to mention the first of your 4 Carry On roles, and
right, yeah.
I suppose you're unique in the sense that you had a spell at the start of the Carry On series, and then at the end. I mean, I can't think of another. Yeah. But what was your role? Can you remember much from being on the set during Carry On Teacher? Because obviously it was Ted Ray, etc. Can you remember?
Oh yes. Oh yes. I mean, up until then, believe it or not, I think I was 17 going on 18 when I did Carry On Teacher. So by then I'd been in dozens and dozens and dozens of films, film work. And the joy of going on Carry On Teacher for me was that all the kids in the thing, Richard O'Sullivan and Roy Hines, Aaron Coleshill, Paul Cole, they're all mates at Corona, the school I was at. So I wasn't cast in it. There was a casting, and they got parts. I didn't get. That happens. And then I got a call. They want me to go in for one day to do one scene. So of course I go in. It was great because all my mates were there. I did this one scene. And that was sit in the classroom and put my hand up to go to the toilet because the teacher thought I was going to answer a question for the examiner. And it wasn't. I want to go to the loo. So that was the gag there. I did that. Thought no more of it. Went away. Not going to come back anymore. All the others were coming in day after day to do the scenes in the film. And then I get a call. They'd like you to do another scene. Yeah, I'll go. Yeah, of course I will. Yeah, that's what you do as an actor. Thank you very much. Give me 20 quid and you go in and do it. And so I did this scene in the orchestra playing the timpani, the drums. And got a lot of laughs on that. And from that, I heard no more from Carry On. No more for, I don't know how many years it was. Many years. Probably about maybe 10 years. Yeah, it was about that. Then I went for a casting for a television commercial. I did lots of television commercials in those days. I was very lucky. I got lots of them. help pay the rent. And I went in, and there was Gerald Thomas, the director, Jerry Thomas.
Yeah.
And he immediately, I hadn't seen him for 10 years, and he said he didn't know I was coming, because the directors don't know who's coming. The casting directors being, you know, the cattle in one after the other. And I come, he said, "Hello, Larry." Wow, that's good. Hello, Gerald. He didn't call him Jerry, called him Gerald. He said, the best thing and director has ever said to me. He said, straight away, he said, "You're not right for what I want." I thought, oh dear. But he said, "I'm doing another Carry On. I'll have you in that." And he did.
Wow.
Purely because I went up for a commercial, and he was the most honest, lovely, honest man. "You're not right for this, not right for what I want." Unlike a lot of them say, "Well, thank you very much, you know, leave your phone number and we'll write," you know, that sort of rubbish you get. And yeah, so from there I went into what was it, Carry On Behind.
I
And
love Carry On Behind, because for me it's
Yeah.
got a bit of a Carry On camping essence to it, I certainly think. But obviously it's, I think Windsor Davis is great in it, and obviously he was in
Yeah.
Carry On England as well, and then you were
Yeah.
in Carry On Emmanuel. What do you remember from those three?
Oh, a hell of a lot. A hell of a lot. Yeah, yes, you're quite right. The Carry On Behind is quite a popular one with Carry On fans, because I do go to these conventions.
Yeah,
In
yeah.
fact, I'm going to go to one next week, next Saturday, a convention, Carry On convention, and of course I'll talk about my book there, and hopefully, you know,
Absolutely, absolutely.
yeah. Well, I have to get the money back from doing the book. It costs a fortune to do and print. Anyway, yeah. So there we are. Carry On Behind, that went well, and then Jerry said, "Be in the next one, Carry On England," which I really enjoyed doing. It's not the greatest of carry-ons, but I had a lot of fun on that one with Kenneth Connor and people like that. And Kenneth Williams, got to know Kenneth Williams a lot better. That was great fun. Except for me, I was in a West End musical at the same time. So I was having to get to the studios by 7:30 in the morning to film all day up until I had to leave by 6. You usually finish by then, and then drive to the West End, do a show, and get up, go home, which is quite away from the West End to where I lived, West London, and have a little bit of a kip, then get up very about 6:30 to get to the Pinewood Studios where 7:30. Oh, I was knackered for 4 weeks of that. I was knackered. So to say how much I remembered of it.
But of course, you also worked on a couple of you were in a couple of Norman Wisdom films as well, with the legendary Norman Wisdom.
Yes, his first one I was in. What was it? Trouble in Store, that was called. Yeah, I got a story there about that one. I was cast with a little part, nice little part, a nice scene, couple of scenes to do, and we were filming down in Brighton. The start of filming on the pier. Lots of kids. I think I was 12, 13 years old, about that. And we get down there. There's a whole part of us kids from Corona. And the agent who organises all this for us, she went up to the director, said, "The part you got for Larry, I think I've got a boy here who's much better than him." This is what I heard afterwards. He ought to do the part. And I didn't know anything about this.
Oh.
And the next thing I know, I'm not doing that. Somebody else is doing it. And I was my first hit of thinking, you know, being hurt by something. That was a terrible thing to do. I know why she did it. I know why she did it, because she felt that this boy, I can't remember his name now, she put in place of me, thought he had a better chance of a career in films.
Yeah.
It didn't work, because I know I got on and he didn't. So
now, of course, earlier on, you mentioned over your, you know, obviously you've played the West End, you've played Broadway. What is there a particular production that you look back on and think, oh my gosh, that was brilliant? I'm proud of that.
Yes. Oh, definitely. And it wasn't in the West End, although it was. I mean, I was fortunate to be in the original production of Oh, What a Lovely War, which was a huge success. That's why we went to Broadway with it and everything. That was brilliant. But as far as an actor of what I did, extraordinary thing was I went up to Leeds Playhouse to play Feste in Twelfth Night, and while I was there, the artistic director asked me to stay on and said, "I can offer you some decent parts." So I'll do that, because I was never ever going to get those parts in London. You know, I've got fantastic parts. won't go through them, about 5 or 6. The other good thing about it was I met my wife up there, so that was a bit of luck, isn't it? That was a bit of luck. So she's downstairs somewhere at the moment having a kip in front of the television.
I should also say you've been married 50 years as well. Congratulations.
We've done 50, yes. We don't talk to each other, but I've done 50. No, we still talk to each other. Great. Yes, so I'm up at Leeds, and I did a production of Waiting for Godot. That's Beckett.
Yeah.
Very difficult stuff, and especially when we were in repertoire, not repertory. In other words, repertoire means there can be 2 or 3 plays on a week at the theatre, so that people can go to see a different play every other night type thing. And you've got to have these damn things in your head. And Godot was put on because at the time there was going to be another miners' strike, and the artistic director quite rightly thought, I'm going to put on a thing called Close the Coal House Door, which was very relevant to the strike, right? So he said, before I do that, I've got to get a play on quickly so I can get it organised. And And he asked one of the lads, would he direct Waiting for Godot? He said, yes. It's a 4-hander, right? And it's huge. It's huge. I played Estragon. I've never off stage. A hell of a learning curve. It's very. I don't normally have trouble learning lines. You learn in rehearsal. It happens. It's easy. But this I had to learn, and at the same time, I was having to learn. What was it? Oh, heavens above! What was it? I'll remember it later. Memory. Anyway, a very difficult old English language play. It'll come. I did Godot, right? And I loved it. I got the big adrenaline rush doing it. You get when it really works well. The actor I was working with, Jim Broadbent, we got on so well and worked so well together in this thing, playing the 2 tramps. And fine, I loved it. And I thought I was quite good in it. I don't often think that about myself. About 10 years after, maybe a bit longer after that, down at my football club, Hampton Richmond Barrow, there's a guy I know called Steve Morley. He's an actor, writer, writes plays. And he asked me to do a play of his for him, which I did. And that was very good too. And he said, I asked him, what got you into writing and being in theatre? And he said, well, I was in at Leeds. And I was Waiting for Godot. And it turned my head. And I said, that was me. I was in it. He said, no. I said, yes, I was listening. He said, blimey. So I was thrilled that
you'd have that effect on someone.
Yeah. He'd written a play, and he wrote this play for me, and so which was quite good, called The Jest of Scoggin, which I think was the second best thing I've done. Yeah.
You mentioned earlier over TV commercials. I'm a bit of a geek, and I love watching old 60s, 70s commercials. When there's a YouTube channel that Kaleidoscope, the TV preservation company, add them to YouTube daily almost. So
really?
which ones do you particularly remember for maybe the filming or your appearance in them? Which ones do you
I remember the 4 I made with Ridley Scott.
You made 4 with Ridley Scott. Wow.
4 with Ridley, yeah. No, and then he went off to America to be a famous director. Did he ask me to go? Did he, bugger? No, he didn't. He could have at least given me a cough and a spit in something, Yeah, I did 4 with Ridley. I did a couple with Alan Parker. These directors, they learned their trade in commercials, Quite a few names I've worked with, but
because Alan Parker directed the Hovis advert, didn't he? I think from memory.
No, that was Ridley. I think.
Oh, I see. I knew it was one of them.
I think that was Ridley. I wasn't in that one.
No, I think you could be right there.
Down the hill.
Yeah. But obviously, I don't know. I think as a nostalgia thing, I think they were better made then. I mean, they had such high production values.
Oh, absolutely, because there was so much money in commercials in those days. You see, they threw money at making these things. I mean, I did a commercial for a holiday thing, and we went over to Tenerife for a week. And the first 6 days, was lying in the sun to try and get a bit of a tan. Then you did a commercial on the last day. I mean, that was ridiculous, isn't it? And you're paid all the time you're over there. You're fed and you're watered and whatever. Stupid, yeah. They did throw money at things like that, yeah.
Now they'd put you in front of a blue screen, probably. You wouldn't get near Tenerife, would you? Probably.
No. And not only that, to be honest, they don't pay you like they used to. They used to pay you. the early contracts on commercials was obscene, because if you were lucky, you got a decent one. You every 10 times it was shown, you got your original fee. So say your fee was £100 to make the commercial, and then it comes on and it's shown for 10 times. That could be different areas around the country. You got another £100. I mean, that it's in the book. I for one commercial I did for the post office. I won't say how much I got, but it bought me the house. One commercial. It was 2 days' work, admittedly, but it bought a house, paid the mortgage.
I can believe it. I can absolutely
Yeah,
believe it.
I mean, it was obscene. Honestly, I shouldn't say that. The taxman might be listening. No, I had to pay my tax on all that.
Yeah.
But no, it was like that. It was extraordinary. They eventually got wise to it, the commercial people, and they changed it completely. No, I haven't done a commercial now since before the bill. No, I haven't. No, I haven't done one since. When I went into the bill, you weren't allowed to do commercials. That was part of the contract you had to sign.
Going back to
this, they didn't want a commercial to come on while you were saying, come on, son, empty your pockets and all that sort of stuff, and then you go on saying, "Hey, eat this."
This is where the Joneses live. Mr. Jones is a bit of an enthusiast for the Vauxhall Chevette. This is his nippy Chevette GL hatchback. This his four-door Chevette saloon. And this his two-door saloon. This is his rally Chevette. While for the odd awkward load, there's always his Chevette estate. Today, however, is a particularly happy one for Mr. Jones, because he's just taken delivery of the new Chevette Special, a limited edition model with loads of extras for very little extra money. Sports wheels, metallic paint, push-button radio, quartz clock, tinted glass, and a decidedly luxurious interior. Clever Mr. Jones. Mrs. Jones likes the Vauxhall Chevette too, but her real passion is tropical plants. See the new Chevette Special now at your Vauxhall dealer, before Mr. Jones gets the lot.
Going back to the bill before we conclude, though, what was your favourite episode from your time? Do you have a particular favourite that you look back on? Maybe
yes, I do. Oh, without a doubt, it's called Pathways. Yeah, it's Peter Hammond wrote it. Brilliant. I was on duty on the streets, and there'd been an accident, and myself and Kelly Lawrence, playing PC Bryn, we were out there directing traffic, and my character didn't enjoy doing that stuff. I get someone else to do it. That was his. I was just waiting for my retirement and my pension. That's my reason to live, and I'm doing all this, and I look across, and there's an allotment place, because he's mad and he's gardening, you see. So I look in there. So I tell Bryn to carry on, get sort of traffic out. I'm going to go in and have a look. The allotments, and as I'm walking around, people, I see this plot of land, and it's all dug up and it's in a terrible state. And I said, well, what's going on here? And the people there say, right, we don't know. He had a wonderful allotment there, and he came in a couple of days ago. It's all been dug up, and it's a hell of a mess. And I said, well, who is he? Where is he? So I look into it, and I suddenly get the suspicion, hang on, has he buried somebody there? Is there something else going on? I wouldn't get too much about it. It's a wonderful episode. So I go off and I find this guy at home, and he's locked himself in a shed. And I eventually get in and get him out, and I get him in the house, and we talk, and I sort of solve it from there. It's a very simple story, but beautifully told, beautifully directed, and our cameraman on that were just sensational,
But on that, the writing and the cast was superb, and I'm not just saying it with kind of rose-tinted glasses. I don't know. I wish that a lot of TV does not have that these days. A lot of TV doesn't have that these days. I mean, I say that, really, really genuinely. I mean, we were lucky to to kind of live through that and see that.
Yeah, the production values on that were terrific. We were the first to use a camera called an Ikigama. It's about that. No, it's a small thing. And it was able to go anywhere with it, so you didn't have to go in anybody's room, and you can film on it. In the old days, the camera was this big, and need tons of lights and tons of, this Ikigama could work under fluorescent light. Maybe had a little 1K spot to hit your face or something, but apart from that, so it was quick and it was brilliant, and and the cameraman was so great with it. We were the first to use it, and everybody uses those things now. In fact, I made a film it must have been 10 years ago now. And the first time I noticed the guy made this film on a Pentax camera, an ordinary Pentax camera, 35mm camera.
Gosh.
Yes, I think, because we were filming in little rooms and things like this. I thought, where's all the equipment? This Pentax camera. We'll do it now. I mean, they work with tiny little things. Secret cameras you do it. They're so good now. The lenses and things, you can do anything.
But with the bill, it did work, and I think it added authenticity because it made it look like a fly on the wall thing at times, didn't it? So when they were certainly in the street scenes, I think it did anyway. Yeah.
Oh yes, we when we did street scenes, and most of the time they'd try and hide the camera somewhere, so the genuine people in the street didn't. You had to be careful who you had to get, if somebody in the scene did something, you had to get their permission to say, do you mind, we filmed this, and that sort of thing. But you had a few extras obviously as well to fill in, but I did lots of scenes walking down through the street, and the camera would be some in first floor window, shooting down as we walked through. Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, all the best for the book. You've got a wonderful introduction from the legend that is Brian Murphy in the
book as well, haven't you? A lot. I work with Brian. He is one of my favorite actors to work with. He was so great to work with. We did a lot of stage work together, Brian and I, a lot. Well, he was in Lovely War as well. Went to America. Great guy, wonderful. Yeah, Brian did a little intro for. I asked him. He said he did it. Bless his heart. He's 90 odd now,
He is, and I believe all the signed hardback editions are all sold out, but you can still, I believe, get the paperback one. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I'm thrilled. It's a lot of people want it. I didn't realize how lucky I am to know so many people who say I'll buy it. Have to, because they're not cheap to produce.
Well, one final question on that. I mean, have you kept a I keep a journal. I've kept one for about 17 years, a handwritten thing. Have you kept a diary, or have you had to kind of go back and watch things? Or
I use Google and IMBD and all those sort of things to work out. One thing I did do is I kept every program of the theatre stuff I did. I've got a huge bucket full of programs. I've got it, and it's great going back and seeing who you'd worked with in the past. And so, my God, I was with that person, and look how well they've done since then. And that, which helped me a lot. And when I was writing, it does. It hits your memory bank. And you think, oh yes, so happened, and that. Oh yeah, of course. And I've got this story and that story. So it was great. It was great. Lovely writing it. I got really on this computer. I'm looking at you now. It's
How long? I mean, we were speaking to Bernie Clifton earlier on the show, who's also at 87 wrote his autobiography, and he said he started it 14 years ago. So it took him 14 years ago to finish. How long? When did you start writing yours?
I started writing mine seriously about a year ago. I had started before and couldn't get on with it. It's only when I met Oliver Crocker. He was great. Because I did a podcast on the bill for him, and he said, "You've got to write your book," because I'm telling all these stories that I haven't told you because in the book. And he said, "You've got to write your book." I said, "Well, I've tried." He said, "Go on, start again." So I did, and it took me a long time to get going. I suppose it really took me in the end 6 months, because I'd started and I wasn't getting anywhere. So I got myself down and made myself sit on the computer and write. I've got pages of stuff in boxes here that I could have 1,000 pages, I tell you, in this book, but I have to edit it right now. Yeah.
Oh, well,
I really enjoyed doing it.
No, fantastic. Thank you for coming on to talk about the book, and all the best for it, Larry.
Chris, that's fantastic, mate. Thanks for asking me.
No, you're right. Keep watching the non-league football.
And you. Yeah, watch out, Hampton, Richmond Borough. We're going to get into the club. We're second in the division at the moment. We're going to go top. We're going to go up into the conference.
Oh, hey,
So,
that'd be all right, that
yeah,
wouldn't it?
we're in the South, Panorama South. So we've been in the playoffs 3 times of the conference, and each time we got beaten. So we'll do it this time.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh,
What non-league?
I was just saying, I prefer non-league.
I do love it.
Yeah.
Well, especially our level. You see, if you have a pint, you can take it outside and drink it and watch. I mean, we get gates of 1,000, so it's pretty good. And it's friendly. You don't have any bother or trouble. The fans, you all mix and give. As you know, your home fans, you always go behind the goal you're kicking towards, and you swap at half time and all that sort of stuff. I mean, I don't. I sit down in the stands, but I'm a lazy bugger.
No, the thing is, during lockdown, I used to take my oldest, and we went watching a team called Liversidge up here in West Yorkshire, and I just prefer it. We are season ticket holders for Bradford City, but I 1,000,000% prefer non-league. You get closer to the football.
You meet the players. You check.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So
I'm with you, Chris. I'm with you on that totally. What level do you play at? What level are Liberties play at? Do you know?
Gosh, they are quite low down the period. I'm going to say 8th or 9th tier. I'm going to be Eric upstairs. My eldest would know in a flash, but I'm
afraid I don't know them too much about the North. I know a lot about it, but not.
Yeah,
Liverpool, I don't know. I've been aware of them, but that's great. I think it's fantastic. I love it.
I agree. I got to keep them going. Right, let's do it.
Well, we're going well. We're going well because we've won 8 in a row. We've won now.
Oh,
8 games in a row. We're second in the league. We about 10 weeks ago we were really near the bottom, and suddenly everything's changed. It's won again today. Yeah, great.
Oh,
yeah. Bless your heart, Chris. Lovely talking to you.
No, thank you so much. All the best with the book. See you later.
Thank you very much, Chris. All the best, mate. Bye now.
Take care.